Вітаю вас на каналі Сергій Лайф. І як по класіки, я продовжую свій марафон англійської мови. Нагадую, це мій другий марафон, другий спринт. Сьогодні буде 5-й день, тобто 12-й день занять поспіль. Значить, сьогодні в мене 5-й день. Я дочитаю, там в мене коротенька частина лишилась. Ні, в мене третю частину я, коротше, ще раз перечитаю. Вона сама складна. Потім буде практика з граматикою і буде переказ історії. Альтернативні діалоги. В принципі, я почну з читання, потім зроблю діалог, і наприкінці вже, наскільки часу вистачить, зроблю граматику. Постараюсь діалог сильно не закінчувати, щоб не затягувати, щоб в мене практики вистачило, хоча б десь, не знаю, півгодинки в ідеалі. Там подивимось. Тож, поїхали. Де наш reading coach? Додавати не треба. Постійно забуває, де ця штука. Де те, що я вже робив? Ага, от. Читати знову. The queen took him to the princess. They climbed up many stairs to a high room. The princess stood sadly by the window. The red light of the evening sun lit up her beautiful face. The river below, the flowers round the window, and her dress were the same color. The prince sat near the princess. They were very happy for a short time, but the prince's eyes suddenly felt heavy. He started to fall asleep. He could hear the princess' words. His eyes shut. He was asleep. Half an hour later, he opened his eyes again. The princess wasn't there. He looked everywhere in the room, but he couldn't find her. He ran to the window and looked up. He saw a big air below. He called him. The princess isn't here. We have to find her in the next hour. Long arms brought the prince down to the ground. Where is the princess? Can you hear her, Big Air? Big Air put his ear to the ground. Yes, he said. I can hear her. She is calling. She says that she is across the river. She is inside a tree. Her mother's man put her there. Quick Eye looked. Yeah, he said, I can see her. But how can we get her? Cried the prince. I have an idea, said Cold Man, and he opened his coat. Snow fell, everything went white. Cold Man jumped into the river, and the water was ice. They ran across the ice and brought the princess back. Long Arms put the prince and princess back through the window into the high room. They sat down as the door opened. The queen came in. She could not speak when she saw the princess. She gave them a cold smile. We are having a very interesting conversation, said the prince. We are talking about trees and rivers. Come with me, said Queen. It is night. Your bedroom is ready. Your servants can sleep there too. The prince said good night to the princess, and he and his servants followed the queen. She took them to a big room. The queen shut the door. She ran to the cook and said, make a great fire under their room. After a short time, the room got very hot. The prince went to the door, but he couldn't open it. I can hear a great fire below us, said Beaker. This is wonderful, said Cold Man. I feel really warm for the first time in my life. Open your coat, Cold Man, said the prince. When Cold Man opened his coat, the room got colder again. That's better, they said. The queen listened at the door. She heard them. She ran to the cook and said, "Make the fire hotter." Old man smiled. "I am warm again," he said. "They're cooking us," said the other servants. "Take off your coat," said the prince. The prince took Cold Man's coat away. "I'm too cold," said Cold Man. "Prince, give me back my coat." Snow fell into the room. The prince could not speak because he was too cold. Batman cried. There was ice in his hair. The queen came to the door. She listened. Nothing. "They are dead now," she said. She opened the door. The prince and the servants ran out of the door. "Let's go and sit by a fire," said the prince. "My face and hands are blue with cold." The queen could not win. She knew that now. So she left the country. The princess married the prince, and they lived happily. And the good servants lived with them. Чотири хвилинки прийшло. А, там.
Кол-
Arms.
Ось і все.
Sit. Couldn't. Interesting. Quick.
Ви чудово
Окей. Так, погнали. Діалог зробимо. Значить, тут у нас, це я підвох підсумок. Замінимо це. Значить. До 12-го дня. Значить. Hi. I want to make this lesson with speaking with you, like in TPRS style. When we, for example, can just imagine what we are two speakers, you and I, and for example, we make some audio podcast in radio, and this podcast we are talking retelling this story. For example, some of us can start the story and then ask the question to the next speaker. Next speaker answered the question and follow it next part of the story and can ask the question too, for example. How you think about this idea?
I think that's a great idea. We can definitely do it that way. We'll imagine we're two speakers on a sort of radio podcast, retelling the story in turns. So one of us will start a part of the story and then ask the other a question. The other person will continue and do the same.
Yeah.
Let's jump right into it and have some fun with the story.
Let's do it. Okay, let's start.
Absolutely, let's dive in. I'll start us off with a little piece of the story, and then I'll pass it over to you with a question. So let's imagine we're telling our listeners about the queen. There was a queen who was quite jealous, and she wanted to feel power over all the princes who came to marry her daughter. And each prince had to complete some impossible task. Now, I'll turn it over to you. What was one of the things the prince had to do when he first arrived?
The prince lived in a poor country where the poor king lived there, and the prince heard about that princess, and he wanted to marry the princess. But the king say to the prince, no, you don't need to go married with the princess because the queen will kill them. But why the king say to the prince about going to the princess and marry for her?
Great job. Let's keep it simple and on track. So the king told the prince not to go because he was worried the queen would kill him, and that's exactly why the prince had to prove himself. Now, I'll continue the story a bit. When the prince arrived, the queen gave him a challenge. She said, "You will have to do 3 tasks if you want to marry the princess." And that's when the prince realized it wasn't going to be easy. So, what was the first task that the queen gave him to do?
The first task, the prince need to find a jewel which which the queen um, dropped into the river.
Exactly, you've got it. The first task was that the prince needed to find a jewel that the queen had dropped into the river. Great job summarizing that. Now, let's keep going and we'll turn this into a little dialogue. While the prince was trying to figure out how to get the jewel, he had to rely on his unusual servants. So tell me, how did the prince and his servants manage to find the jewel in the end?
Uh, so um, the prince uh, the prince finds the jewel with her servants. With first of all, I don't remember exactly. Uh, Quick Eye sees the river and looked for the jewel. Then Fat Man drank all water on the river, and when river was dry, Long Arms took the jewel, and then Prince bring this jewel to the queen. Something like this. Which color was the jewel?
Exactly. That's pretty much how it went. So, quick eyes spotted where the jewel was. Fat man drank up all the water, so the river was dry, and then long arms just reached in and grabbed it. And as for the color of the jewel, it was a beautiful blue jewel. You did great with that. Now we've got the hang of this TPRS style, just simple and correct. Let's keep rolling with it, and we'll do a bit more to wrap up day 12.
Okay, yeah. Which was the next task for the prince?
Great question. So the next task the prince had to do was a bit trickier. The queen told him that he had to eat 30 chickens by noon. Of course, that's where his servant Fat Man came in very handy. So now let's do a quick little dialogue piece. While the prince was bringing Fat Man to the queen, what do you think the queen was doing or planning?
Repeat, please.
Absolutely. I'll repeat that for you. So the next task was that the prince had to eat 30 chickens before noon. And of course, he brought Fat Man along to help with that. While the prince was doing that, what do you think the queen was doing or planning at the same time?
What the queen do when he waiting for 12 for 12 o'clock for the evening?
So, what the queen was actually doing while she was waiting for noon was secretly planning her next move. She was thinking of another tricky challenge for the prince because she really didn't want him to succeed. Basically, she was coming up with a plan to make the next task even harder.
I
You're doing
think, wait a minute. I think if you ask about what do the queen doing while he waiting about evening um, uh, for eating all chickens, I think the queen uh, just relax and he knew that about they are the prince and the fat man can't eat all chickens. He start planning the new. He started plan new plan while Prince and Fat Man ate all food in the kitchen, ate all chickens, ate everything in gardens, on the trees, all vegetables, and so on.
Absolutely. You've got the idea. So, yes, the queen was probably just relaxing and feeling confident because she thought there was no way they could actually eat all those chickens. Meanwhile, she was already coming up with her next sneaky plan, knowing that the prince would have to face something even harder next. Great job on that. We're really getting into the flow of this TPRS style. Let's keep going and we'll wrap up the day soon.
Okay. Can you imagine some other tricky idea for Prince if you were the queen?
Absolutely. Let's get a bit creative. So, if I were the queen and I wanted to come up with another tricky idea for the prince, maybe I'd tell him that he has to find a magical flower that only blooms at midnight on top of the highest mountain. That would definitely make things complicated for him. You're
Oh
doing great
yeah.
with all these ideas. let's wrap up the TPRS practice here for today. You've really worked hard, and I think you've got the hang of it.
We can continue this podcast.
Absolutely. We can keep going. Let's continue this podcast
Keep
style
going.
storytelling a bit longer.
Keep
We'll keep
going.
the conversation flowing and add a couple more fun twists. So let's just dive right back in.
How do you think about what do you think about this magical servants? Where do they come from? Because the prince was shocked. He was embarrassed to see this magical people, and it is unusual word. Where they come from? How do you think?
That's a really fun question. Well, I think those magical servants are like a little piece of fairy tale mystery. Maybe they come from a land where everyone has some kind of unique magical talent, and the prince just happened to meet them on his journey. They definitely add a bit of that fairy tale charm and make the whole story more magical. So, yeah, I'd say they just come from a world where anything is possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, do you have some other questions for me?
Absolutely. Let's keep the conversation going. So here's another question for you. If you were the prince and you had these magical servants helping you, which one of them do you think would be the most useful to you personally and why?
Repeat, please, your question.
Of course. I'll repeat that for you. So, my question is, if you were the prince and you had all these magical servants to help you, which one would you find the most useful for yourself? And why?
Uh-huh. I think the most powerful and useful servant for me, it was Quick Eyes, because it helps me to see um, a lot of to see the um, next steps. For example, to see um, more than any people see near me, or um, see what happens in some. It's like I don't know how it's called in English. Це як розвідник.
Absolutely. I get what you mean. So basically, quick eyes would be like having a scout or a lookout who can see everything from far away and give you a huge advantage. That makes total sense. It's like having someone who can see the next steps or see things that no one else can. Thanks for sharing that.
Mhm. The cold man, it's look like from this, як воно називається? X, Росомаха в якому фільмі знімався? Який це фільм? Що мозги не тримають.
Ah, I see what you're getting at. You're thinking about a character like Wolverine from the X-Men movies, who's kind of rugged
X-Men.
and has his own unique abilities. So, yeah, Cold Man is a bit like that. He's got this special power to change the temperature, and that makes him stand out. It's a cool comparison. You're doing great making all these connections. Let's keep the fun going for a bit longer, and then we'll wrap up our day.
Okay, I think we can finish this story for today, and we'll continue this dialogue tomorrow.
Absolutely. That sounds like a great plan. We've done a lot today, so let's wrap up for now, and we'll pick it up again tomorrow. You did an awesome job, and we'll continue this story and the dialogue in our next session.
Ленива
Thanks for a great chat, and see you next time.
штука. Так, а тепер в нас це класна штука, тому що раніше мені подобався Perplexity для цього, щоб можна було, щоб там переписку він видає і підглядувати. А зараз, вже давненько, в принципі, ChatGPT оновився, і він виводить весь наш діалог, всю conversation в чат, і він вже читає цей conversation, вже читає чат в цьому діалогі. І тому мені значно простіше зробити перевірку граматику. Та-дам! Плутанина часів. Present і past. Ти сказав, the prince lived in a poor country where the poor king lived there. Lived, що він там жив. The prince lived in a poor country where his father was kind. Да. Так. Угу. He, she, they. Неправильний займенник. Ти сказав the queen will kill them. Про це. Him. Will kill him. Угу. Угу. Quick I saw the river and looked for the jewel. Угу. Без причини. When while. Не до кінця правильно. Ти сказав. When the river was dry. Twins and June. While Prince and Fat Man ate all food. Were in all the food. Мгм. А тут я не поняв, про що він. Це окей. Так, а при чому тут тоді? Це ж не зразу було. Понятно. І ще форма дієслова. Ти сказав he start planning. He started planning. He started a new plan. Да. А в минулому часі. He was embarrassed to see these magical people. He was surprised to see these magical people. Мгм. Питання, структура. What does the queen do when he is waiting for 12 o'clock? What does the queen do when he is waiting for 12 o'clock? What was mm, what was the queen doing while she was waiting for 12 o'clock? Ну, тут минулий час, так, це я забуваю. Was doing. Угу. Continuous. Умовні речення інтуїтивно, але криво. I think if you ask about what does the queen do, I think да, це I think that the queen was planning her next move while she was waiting. Це в якому там було? А, там де я тут. Мгм. Да. З цим якраз ми сьогодні і попрацюємо. Загальна проблема дня, головне, основна помилка не одна, а системна. Ти думаєш складніше, ніж дозволяє твоя автоматична граматика. Через це з'являються зайві слова, ламається порядок, плутанина на часи. Так, чесна оцінка сьогоднішнього speaking. Fluently 7 з 10, Grammarly 5 of 10, Communication 8 of 10, загалом 6. Непогано, не круто, а реально. Так, що робимо далі? Один час за раз. Повтор одних і тих самих структур. Так, хорошо. Замечательно. Це вже от те, що зараз є, з чатом GPT вже реально робити класні перекази. Мені сьогодні прям сподобалось. Інакший варіант я показую, якщо я не забуду додати, я записав окреме відео, де ви можете 4, по-моєму, видами робити такі перекази, такі діалоги, ну, різні перекази, різні можливості, як спілкуватись. Один із них це робити не так, як сьогодні, а базово, як я робив раніше, через аудіо to текст, через цей мікрофончик. Теж непогано для того, щоб у вас штучний інтелект не перебивав. Ви могли, якщо довго збираєтесь з думками, в мене запори такі теж бувають. Я тоді включаю цей мікрофончик і через нього просто поступово переказую, що я хочу сказати, і далі відправляємо на перевірку. Це теж класна практика. Тому це, скажімо, варіанти вибору. Там на відео я розказую ще інші інструменти, як можна робити інші варіанти переказу. Так, значить, це є. Отлично. Ну, у мене 25 хвилинок ще є. І сьогодні ще я хочу почати для граматики. Хочу спробувати Lingua English. Цей ресурс також є в ресурсах до цього марафону в додаткових. Це, скажімо, up to you. Ну, для того, щоб я хочу ну, саме безпосередньо тренувати граматичні теми, підсилити, тому що граматика в мене на сьогодні саме слабке місце однозначно. Друге слабке місце це в мене словник, і його теж буду розширяти. Але все поступово. Починаю з граматики. Я тут пройшов вступний тест, щоб визначити свій рівень, підтвердився ну, мій рівень B1. Тут без аудіювання, без всякого такого. Тут прості тести на, ну, скажімо, пропуск і вставити пропуск. От, тому, ну, не знаю, B1 трошки високовато. Я думаю, що в мене якраз такий B1 шатаючийся. Але менш з тим, я хочу попрацювати над conditional. У мене. Так. Самі теми я вже проходив українською, поки що тут витрачати час не буду. Так, і пройду. Щас, як тут іде? Поки не звик. От. Zero Conditional. Це Mixed. А я хочу отак. Значить, Mixed Conditional це Present Simple, Past Simple, Present Simple, Present Simple. Present Simple, Present Simple. Це просто простий час без всяких цих. Додається S, правильно? Do does і додається S для keywords. S додається, це правильно. Так. Using the simple present. Мгм. А як gets? Don't get. I. А якщо цей. Там не S. S не ставиться. Get. Щас, а як там? буде задавати такі питання. Бодас вже забрав. Дурне питання. I don't дурне, тому що в мене гівно насрано просто в часах. Тут не треба було взагалі да ставити, бо це стверджувальна форма. Так. I stressed. Щас, секундочку. I stressed if I if the artist mixes blue and yellow paint together, she makes green. The teacher shuts a lot if the students для множини don't do their homework. Don't do their homework. If they're gonna be enough snow, the if the enough snow, they Збій якось не знаю поки як. Збій в мене не склалось. They do not go skiing. Granddad Dave helps his grandfather if needs it. My house plants die if I don't water them often enough. If she has дідах headache, да?
Headache.
Headache. Додаємо. She take a day off. Children don't be. Так. Тоді тут if there isn't aren't allowed in the restaurant if it is later than 8 o'clock. Language levels does not improve and improve levels don't improve if students not learn cannot learn natural vocabulary. If students natural vocabulary. If the alarm goes off, everyone а що has? Що has, якщо тут everyone це множина? Будь-хто. Building. Не то. Pick a result. Zero Conditional mixed 2. My wife gets annoyed if I don't take out the trash. Sophie takes tables if she has a headache. If there is back ice on the road. If there is black ice on the road. Black ice. Прикольно. Это же гололед. On the road. Бабло закінчилось. Потім додам. Збережу собі десь. Так, drivers must be extra careful. Restaurants have to close if they not attract, if they not enough customers. My son gets grocery if he doesn't wait. If the kids are naughty, they can watch TV. The postman stops to chat with me if the postman stops to chat with me if he has time. The postman stops to chat with me if he has time. Якщо в нього є час, то він стоп. Stops to chat with me if he has time. Да. We usually order a take away if there no food in the cupboards. Так. Charlie feel better if he if you ticket you don't you can attend the concert. Юху. Так. Ще один зробимо. If my butler. Хто такий? Дворецький. А що ти вилазиш, що це мені не надо? My butler was ну, так, наверное. Угу. Washes my clothes at the wrong temperature, they shrinks. Shrink. Що таке? Скорочуватись. Jen has red hair and fair skin. Fair. So if she forget your sun cream, she gets terrible sunburn. If the doctor tells you to stay home, you not you go to the office. He to the office cycles if he has the chance. If my roommate от воно що. The grocery shopping he don't buy anything doesn't buy anything healthy. If you allergic to allergic to almonds, you would definitely not marzipan. If the trains are on strike, we can't go to work. If I not enjoy the first 10 minutes of a podcast, I stop listening. The baby is a tantrum. Tantrum?
Tantrum. Tantrum.
If he watches the baby has a tantrum if he doesn't get what he wants. If this isn't your kind of thing, you прекрасно. Що тут у нас? Put the word in the correct order to make zero conditional sentence. Ну, це трошки часу, звісно, займе. Так, і у мене лишиться ще. Там. У мене залишиться ці два. Я їх залишу все-таки і потім. Тут побільше практики. Окей. Непогано, мені подобається, тут продуктивніше і більше можна встигнути. В принципі, за півгодинки я зробив побільше практики, ніж в чаті GPT, і мені поки що тут більше подобається. Ну, коротше, граматика має бути з інструментами саме для граматики поки що. І новий скіл з переказами, з розмовою з штучним інтелектом мені теж зайшов. І давайте ще зробимо підсумок сьогоднішнього дня. Значить, сьогодні 26. Нормально пішло. Black Eyes додамо. Значить, я додав 3 тут і додав сьогодні. Двадцять шосте. Тут не видно, да? Раз, два, три, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 13 слів. То я ще додам. Так, я підтягну і слова трошки. Оцей список треба буде переробити, але сьогодні була Present Simple, головний успіх дня. Ну, так. Складність не цей. Відчуваю переможцем. Коментар або ідея на завтра. Лінголія зайшла. Так, і, до речі, в успіх дня. Ну що, на сьогодні все. Дякую за увагу і до завтра. Всім гарного дня. Пока.